in the school drop-off, and I was standing next to this lady, and she goes, I didn't know that Donald Trump wanted to take away the Affordable Care Act. I thought he was just going to get rid of Obamacare, and I was all for that. And I paused, because I wasn't sure if she was joking or not. And then I say, those are the same thing. They're one and the same. And she goes, well, I didn't know that, and now I don't know if I'm going to have insurance for my kids or for myself. How are they so uneducated about the things that their presidential candidate wanted to do? Because somehow he baffled all these people into voting against their own interests.
Never thought the leopards would eat my face. No, I never thought it would happen to me. Turn my back on my own kind, but I somehow felt that every fight. No, I never thought the leopards would eat my face.
MAGA regret is real. So let's watch this video and then let's talk at the end of the video.
Hello friends, my voice is still crappy, but I'm feeling much better than I was before, so that's good. At least there's that. There's a lot going on in the world, but I've been thinking a lot about compassion, and there's been a lot of back and forth conversation, not just for me, but for a lot of people, about what do we do with folks who have buyer's remorse and are now turning around and going, I had no idea this would be a thing. I regret my vote. Do we simply accept them? Do we chastise them? Do we hold their feet to the fire on things that they vehemently denied for years, only to then immediately be proven wrong? Do we shun them the way they've shunned so many people? That's a hard question to answer, and I think the reason it's so hard is because it's different for everybody. Maybe some of you who will see this have absolutely no one close to you who voted for Trump. Some will have almost everyone you know voted for Trump. And some of those people will never change their minds. They will never, ever come to a place where they realize that they have been taken, that they are vulnerable, and that they got the whole country into this situation with their vote. Trump gives these people permission to openly hate whomever they hate for whatever reasons they've chosen, and to be protected by some non-existent law in this country that says that you have the right to demean and belittle others, to be an outright asshole, and to just do whatever you please, because that's freedom. And it isn't. Unfortunately, the echo chamber that they were living in was the thing that hid that from them the whole time. Because even though they heard those things were dismissed by talking heads. They were made to sound less venomous than they are. Dim at best, so they couldn't see it. It was purposefully being hidden from them. And of course, anyone who tried to show them was a woke libtard who didn't deserve their time or their focus. The ones who are going, wait a minute, I didn't ask for this, this wasn't what I wanted, I regret this now, and I'm sorry, what can I do to make it better? Should we have compassion for these people? These are people you care about, right? Doesn't matter who they are, you care about them. And it's the same kind of question that I think people ask when someone that they love commits a crime and has to be punished by society for that crime. And we have a system of justice that's kind of designed to do that. For some people, it's designed to do that very harshly and kind of perpetually. But then, we've always had this mentality in a lot of ways that if someone does their time and they've served that out, that they deserve to come back into society and try to live a straight life. Not meaning heterosexual, but straight as in straight and narrow. They're still someone's child, someone's parent, someone's sibling, aunt, uncle, grandparent. That person has people who love them. Someone doesn't have to be forgiven for what they've done in order to give them the kind of compassion that Christians should know Jesus of Nazareth calls them to. Jesus doesn't say, free all of the prisoners or the captives. Jesus says, visit the prisoners. Enough to recognize that they are people, that they have needs. And part of that is social. We're social creatures. We need each other. And that time spent with other people needs to be leisure, educational, informative, spiritual. It has to encompass all of our needs in order to be balanced. When we practice shunning, the primary thing Jesus was trying to keep religious people from doing anymore when he said, love your neighbor as yourself. It's psychologically damaging. Should these people pay their debt to society? Yes. I think that their debt should be that they need to put either money or time and energy, or both, into purposefully protecting the democratic process. Putting in the real work at making sure that what we become is not what we've had in the past that has damaged the world. That's easy for me to say. It's not an easy task to simply move forward with someone after you feel like you have been dismissed by them and that your needs and your rights and your very existence have not only been dismissed, but they actively seek to tear them down. Please don't think that I'm saying that we should just forgive and forget. Forgive and forget is the wrong way to think about this. Instead, it should be forgive and remember differently. As we move through this together, and all of these people start to realize that they've made a drastic mistake, and they come to us with their apologies, seeking support, we can choose to be that active person who holds them accountable without shunning them, offers them a bit of forgiveness, and attempts to remember differently about how they behaved and understand that they did it because they were caught in a silo of information. Nothing that wasn't vetted was getting in, and nothing that wasn't false was coming out of it. Or we can punish them perpetually, put them through the ringer, separate ourselves from them on a permanent basis, and make it impossible for families and co-workers and neighbors to see eye to eye. My neighbors across the street, for the longest time, not directly across the street, they're just a little ways down, but I can see them from my living room window. They had a bunch of Trump paraphernalia out on their house. They took that down. I thought they moved. They didn't move. They're still there. And I think they've changed their minds. I'm not brave enough to go and talk with them about that. But I don't have to. I hope that for their sake, they took those down because they've come to realize that something awful has happened. That they were supporting a very bad person. Donald Trump is a bad person. I don't want to say those things. It's just a reality, and we all have to come to terms with that. I hope that you heal. I hope that life brings you some joy. I hope that you find something positive in all of this. And I hope, for the sake of every American and every person who ever visits this country and everyone around the world, that we can finally do what's right and that the democratic process will be preserved, that we can get rid of this cancerous scourge that has landed inside our government, and that we will make sure to hold our congresspeople and senators and governors and every state representative and senator accountable for the things they say and do. I wish you strength through all of it. I can only hope and pray that we all survive this, and that in a few years' time, we'll be able to look back on this and really use this experience to learn, to be more open and accepting of each other, to learn how to be more loving toward everyone in the world, because we are all on this earth together, and not one of us is getting off of it alive. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you very much.
I've already appealed. I'm gonna fight for my job back. I took an oath of office to fight for this administration.
So go watch the full video. I'm tagging the creator below who created that stitch. Definitely worth a look. Long story short, that is a Trump supporter, Trump voter, who is also a federal employee who now has no job because of the person that she voted for. And I just wanted to hit on this misconception that this young woman apparently has. She says, I took an oath to defend this administration. No, you didn't. No federal oath is specific to an administration. The oath that you took was to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States. That's your federal oath. The fact that and I'm sure she does, absolutely believes that she has sworn fealty to this administration is a fucking problem. And yeah, it's hard to feel sorry for that. Or, on the other hand, did she recently swear some new oath to the administration? Because I haven't heard about that. That would be an even bigger problem.
I never thought in a million years that I would actually regret voting for Donald Trump. Listen to this, you guys. My job has been frozen. Okay, I was one of the top researchers in my department. And, I never thought the day would come when an unelected person like Musk would start digging into where everyone's tax dollars are going. I thought my job was safe, okay? Now, because of Donald Trump and Elon Musk, how are we ever going to find out if cats really hate dogs and dogs really hate cats? I mean, we were making groundbreaking work, okay? And we were on the cusp of discovering that felines and canines really do, at their core, hate each other. And now it's gone. It's all gone. I I cannot believe I voted for this.
And it's happening fast. I'm getting a lot of messages from people who say, I'm a Republican, I'm a Trump supporter, but I want labor rights. And they're asking me for help with the problem they're having now that Trump is really attacking the federal workforce, and they're scared. The hypocrisy. How dare you come to me for help when you have spent the past 12 years of Trump's career violently and it's happening fast. I'm getting a lot of messages from people who say, I'm a Republican, I'm a Trump supporter, but I want labor rights. And they're asking me for help with the problem they're having now that Trump is really attacking the federal workforce, and they're scared. The hypocrisy. How dare you come to me for help when you have spent the past 12 years of Trump's career violently and viciously attacking anyone who doesn't look like you, violently and viciously attacking labor rights when every expert in the world warned you. And you mocked us. You still mock us when we tell you that what's happening is dangerous. But now that it's finally affected you, as we warned you it would, now you think you deserve special treatment? It's kind of like that guy who posted about not paying taxes and how proud he was not to pay taxes. And then the fires happened, and he was desperately calling for private firefighters to save his house, but no one else's. I'm angry at you. I'll probably still help you because I believe in this, but I'm angry at you.
Ready for the ultimate fuck around and find out? Here it comes. Watch this, and then we'll discuss.
I need your help to save my farm and many other farms. I wanted to give you guys
Okay, this Jethro is experiencing the ultimate MAGA FAFO moment. I don't know if you've seen his videos, but he's posted a couple of videos where he's basically come on here and he said, I voted for Trump because, well, in a nutshell, because he loves Trump's hate agenda. He doesn't like the fact that immigrants are coming here and taking money from the government. Taking money from the government is evil. You should pull up your own bootstraps and work. So, in the next sentence, he comes out and he says, I voted for Trump, and Trump took away my government subsidy that helped my farm stay in business. So send me money. Trump took away the government subsidy that Biden put in place that kept me in business. Now that Trump took it away, I need your help. Send me money. So my question to you is, do we send this Jethro money? I mean, he is now getting the bill for his hate agenda. His hate agenda comes with a price. He didn't know it, maybe he didn't realize it, maybe he thought it would never bounce back on him, but now that it's affecting him personally, he's asking for us to give him money. Now, my answer to this, I don't know what your answer is going to be, whether you want to give him money or not, but my answer is, from me you get fucko. Because if I were to give you money, Jethro, that would make me woke. And you hate woke. You hate the woke left because they show kindness, compassion, and consideration for other people. And that's just too woke for you. So I'm going to live by your standard. And I'm not going to be woke. Which means I'm not going to give you one red fucking cent. Because that's what I feel you fucking deserve. What about the rest of you? What say you? Do you give them money?
I want to preface what you're about to see by noting I am not looking for sympathy or validation here. I was just expressing some remorse and some grief and some sorrow, because I think it can help a lot of people to kind of process through that. A lot of people who were like me voted for Trump and have to account for that. There are moments where I'm just overcome with grief and regret. Not anger, not rage, but just grief and regret over having voted for Trump in 2016. And I get that I've come a long way. I get all that. That doesn't take away those moments. it does not take away the regret, the guilt. I mean, I could work through it, and I do that regularly for a lot of different issues, not just who I voted for in 2016, but I just wanted to document this because this is one of those moments. I just saw the Kamala Harris ad talking about how she is the president for all the people and how Trump has a history of wanting to withhold aid from people who didn't vote for him. And I was responsible. I was partly responsible for putting him in office. I was part of that crowd. And that's something I'm going to have to live with. And I will. But there are moments like right now where that can be overwhelming.
Okay, so I'm going to talk to you today about how I used to be a MAGA Republican and now I've turned blue. So let's go back to the beginning. So in 2008, I voted for Barack Obama. I was considered a Democrat. I was a registered Democrat. In 2012, I didn't vote. After Obama's presidency, I was just kind of like, I don't really, I was still kind of younger. I didn't really know what I wanted. I wasn't really paying attention to politics. I was kind of being naive, so I didn't even vote at all in 2012. And then 2016 rolled around and Trump came around, and let's just say I got lost in the sauce. I got lost in the whirlwind that is MAGA that began in 2016. And I kind of just, fell on that aspect because honestly, if I'm being fair, I'm not a huge Hillary Clinton fan. And some of the stuff that she did I found absolutely kind of shady. And I mean, I'm not saying I hate her by any means, you know what I mean? But I was like, okay, Donald Trump could bring something to the table. Mind you, I was still being naive. I was only getting my information from the MAGA circle. And I wasn't doing any other information at all. I wasn't doing any other research. I liked my little bubble. I was happy in my little fucking bubble. It made sense to me. Everything lined up with everything else that I would say. Now, let me preface by saying I've always been pro women's rights and I've always been pro LGBTQ community. Period. End of story. That has never been an issue for me whatsoever, even when I was MAGA. And I felt like I had to keep that stuff quiet, though, which was wild to me because, I believe in gay marriage. I believe in the trans community. I believe, obviously, women's right to choose. But, I kept my mouth shut with MAGA because I was like, oh, it's okay. There's other things that I fall in line with when it comes to his policies. Really, fast forward, he has no fucking policies, but I didn't know that. So then 2020 rolled around and I was still in my naive bubble, even with my husband as well. And 2020 rolled around and I voted for him again. And then January 6th happened. And when January 6th happened, I was fucking done. I was done. I was like, I cannot stand by a man who tried to overthrow our Constitution, leading us to a brink of a civil war. I cannot blindly follow a man who made a fake elector's plot to try to get himself elected and literally tried to overthrow our Constitution. I couldn't stand by it and do it. And then Roe versus Wade happened and even more shit started coming out and I was like, fuck this guy. He's an absolute piece of shit. He doesn't give a fuck about women. He doesn't give a fuck about children. He doesn't give a fuck about the LGBTQ community. He doesn't give a fuck about, people in general, his country or anybody coming into it, anybody who's already here, he just doesn't give a fuck. And I was like, I'm done. I'm absolutely fucking done. And now, I will say with full transparency, I changed my voter registration. I am now back to being a Democrat. I do not see myself ever going back to Republican because my views simply just don't align with them at all. I'm not religious. I don't believe in God. And I am not buying this whole fucking border issue. I understand immigration control, but I'm exactly where it should be, a bipartisan bill that Biden and Harris created. I am for a democracy. I am for women having the right to choose. I am for middle-class families. I come from a middle-class family. I'm for health care. I am for women's rights, LGBTQ. I have a child with special needs. My son is autistic. Everything that I believe in into my core does not align with the Republican Party. And it makes me emotional to know that I ever fucking stood by idly and blind and let that shit happen because it makes me sick. To know that I voted for that fucking rapist criminal for 2 terms, it made me sick. And I never got on the I hate Joe Biden train. I never really got behind it. And I just did my fucking research. after January 6th, the conspiracy started more. I started realizing what he was, and then Roe v. versus Wade happened, overturned, and I was like, I'm fucking done. And then just knowing that he didn't do anything that he said he was going to do, how he's fucking disparaged our veterans, shit all over them, doesn't, like, how he's treated women, abusing women, being liable for raping a woman and multiple others. Like, I can't get behind somebody like that. I am a woman. I am a mother. I am voting for my future, for my children's future. I'm done with this whole bullshit of, everybody's coming across the borders, things are more expensive, da-da-da-da-da. I'm done with fucking, tampons in the bathroom. I'm done with that shit. It's so fucking stupid. I won't even argue with you people anymore, because that's what you are, is just a bunch of belligerent idiots. Like MAGA idiots. Period. End of story. Right now, we need to focus on our democracy, women getting their fucking rights back. We need to focus on the LGBTQ community being able to have equal rights. We need to take care of the people that are in this country, and asylum seekers that are coming from other countries, we need to take care of as well. Period. End of story. I'm not going to change my viewpoint on that ever. We need to keep church and state separate, and we need to have gun control, because guess what? I have 2 children. Like I said, one of them special needs. I'm scared to send them to school every day. So while y'all are bitching about tampons in the motherfucking bathroom, I'm worried that I'm not going to see my kid again. So that's why I'm voting blue. I will never go back to being a Republican again. And the true Republicans that aren't behind MAGA, no disrespect to you at all, because your party has totally been hijacked by that belligerent moron. So for true Republicans, I stand by you. I respect your beliefs. I personally am just not one of them anymore. So that is my story. If you have any questions, let me know.
I voted for him for lower grocery prices. He promised me cheaper prices on groceries. And that has not happened. Not only has that not happened, I am getting my food stamps taken. I am getting my cash assistance taken. I am getting my Section 8 taken. I am getting all my welfare governments taken. I did not ask for this. I would not have voted for him if I knew this was going to happen.
Do you know what drives me insane about these people that say that if I would have known, I wouldn't have voted for him, or I did not vote for that? Yes, you did. The first thing that bothers me is, yes, you did. You see, you voted for those things. You just thought it would happen to someone else. You were perfectly fine with other people losing programs, losing things that would benefit them. You just didn't think it would touch you. You thought you were safe from losing these programs. And the other part is they say they didn't know. Bullcrap. Bullcrap. The left, independents, lots of different economic experts, doctors, scientists have been screaming about all the horrible things that Donald Trump would do. We told you about Project 2025. We told you how many times his name was listed in Project 2025. And we told you how many of his own staffers were in there as well, or helped write it. But you guys didn't believe us. You guys said fake news. We tried to warn you. You didn't either want to listen, or your bigotry and your racism, your homophobia, and your sexism didn't allow you to see what was coming. So the bed that you made, you now have to lie on. The sad thing is that so many of us are in the same bed with you, but we didn't vote that way. We knew that these things were going to happen. We knew that this was going to cause havoc for everybody. And look, I'm sorry for you. I feel horrible that you're going to lose all these benefits, but you did vote for this. So if you want something to change, I suggest you call your congressperson and tell them to put a leash on Donald Trump and stop him in Congress. I suggest, instead of just coming on this app and whining and complaining about what you yourself created, you call your representative and do something about it. Otherwise, we here on the left and independent, we don't care. We warned you. All my love.
Honestly, it's painful to see what's happening right now in America with the budget cuts on Medicaid, with people being laid off, with people now doing demonstrations, others saying they want to leave MAGA, they regret the way they voted, because I mean, it's what, 2-3 months 2 months down the line, 3 months down the line. I mean, 1 year is not over yet, but we can see a lot of changes. We can see people are literally remorseful, and they're literally wondering what's going to happen next, you know, because things are changing so fast in America, so fast. The policies are being implemented which are shocking everybody. For example, when they laid off federal workers like USAID and other departments, people were shocked about that. When it comes to Dodge, they laid out some people off. Also, people got shocked out of that, and those are thousands and millions of American citizens who are literally out of jobs. Yeah, and you know, they have families who are depending on them, so basically they are literally out there trying to get new jobs right now. Then we have Medicaid cuts right now, which are being going through the Congress. So they are going to do how many 880 billion cuts on Medicaid, which was formerly known as Obamacare, and literally millions of Americans, they are depending on Medicare to be able to afford medicine, to be able to access hospitals. So what's going to happen to them when they do this budget cut? What's going to happen to them? Because majority of people in America, they cannot afford, you know, out of pocket to buy medicine because it's expensive. It's expensive without insurance. It's very, very expensive. We are talking about thousands and thousands of dollars, and not many people can afford that unless maybe you're rich. So what's going to happen to them? What is going to happen to these people who are literally depending on medicine to survive? What's going to happen to them? We need to look at the bigger picture here. It's not just about you. It's about every person in America who's literally depending on Medicaid, who's being laid off jobs, and they're literally trying to find out how they need to support their family. So what people need to do right now is basically to make those phone calls, talk to your people, talk to them, tell them to stop. They go to Congress and they stop these budget cuts, because literally people are going to suffer. Do your part, okay? Alright guys, please subscribe to my channel, and remember, they always tell us consequences are here. Every action you take, there are consequences. I know some people thought, you know, if I vote for Republic, of course, what they say is going to happen. It's not going to touch me, of course. Of course, I'm going to be safe. But unfortunately, when government make a decision, they usually don't look at the skin color. They don't look at how much you're earning. All they look at, whatever it is they want to cut, they usually cut, and it's usually cut across every American, everybody, regardless whether you voted for him or not. It doesn't matter, and that is the reality people are suffering right now. That is what people are finding out. FAFO is what is happening right now. Is it painful? Yes. Is it so sad? Yes. Is it harsh? Yes. But the reality is, people need to learn from this experience. People need to know when they are going to vote, who are they voting for. People need to know they need to vote for their own best interest at heart. It's painful when I see people say, I regret voting because I thought I'm gonna get, you know, buying grocery at a lower price, or I thought I'm gonna get this job, or I thought I'm gonna benefit this, and other people are not going to benefit that. Forgetting that, you know, whatever it is you're benefiting, someone else, if they're going to be denied, is also going to apply to you. That is how government operates. Anyway guys, let me hear from you guys, and subscribe.